Hi, this is David with EMiniTradingStrategies.com. In this video, I want to talk about the EET trade setup. EET stands for Early Entry Technique, and what it basically means is it gets you into a trade in the direction of a normal system entry that could happen in the near future. Okay? Now, basically, I used two charts when I trade. I really have three, but for this video, we only need to talk about two of them. One is a slower chart that I trade normal system entries off of, and one is a faster tick chart that I trade early entry techniques off of, otherwise known as EET. Now, an early entry, again, would be to get you into a trade before a normal system entry and try to profit off that trade. Now, the EET is a little more aggressive than a normal system entry, but you risk less and you can make a lot more on a trade. So I want to show you some trades and give you a good idea of how the EET works. Now, Pro Indicator version 2 illustrates the EET signal, and these two bars here are not entry points, although they could be at the entry point. They're not. They're just there to show you the two bars that follow the EET signal. One of the things that I teach is that we want to be filled within two bars after we receive a signal, and this just shows you that the two bars, so don't get that confused with a entry. Now, the stop loss on the EET is always displayed for you if you're using Pro Indicator version 2. If you don't use Pro Indicator version 2, that's fine. We teach you exactly what you need to know to find the entries as well as know what the stop loss is. Okay, so you'll see I also have normal system entries turned on this chart. Okay, we do not trade normal system entries on this faster tick chart, but the reason it's turned on for is a reference point. We have one EET for each normal system entry. Well, I shouldn't say for each, because there could be a period of sideways action when you get a lot of NSEs and you don't get any EETs. So it's a reference point that I know that if I get a long NSE that I could have a short EET. So before, if I back up some, we know there must have been a short normal system entry, so we could have our first long EET. Okay, so this, by the way, is September 27th, 2010. Here's our first long EET trade. I highlighted the entry. Okay, as I said, these two bars here show you which are fill bars. This happens to fall on the entry price, but that doesn't mean it's the entry price. It just happened on this scenario to fall on the entry price. So this would be your fill bar, and it was a nice winning trade. We have an early entry technique here, and here's our fill right here. This is not the fill bar, that just shows you the two bars that follow. Another nice winning EET. This is to the short side now. Remember, we had a long NSE, so we take a short EET. And here's a stop loss. So we enter here, we're risking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ticks on this trade. This trade we're only risking 1, 2, 3 ticks. Okay, so pretty good risk reward on these trades, and it's aggressive because the longer term chart has not changed direction, so that's why it's a little more aggressive. But as you can see, it's a really good trade setup. In fact, I have a lot of students that only trade the EET. Okay, so let's go and look at a couple more examples here. Here's a long EET that simply was not able to fill. This is the entry price right here, down here 1141 and a quarter. No way we could have been filled on that trade, and well, it worked out to our benefit because it came down and hit our stop loss, so that one doesn't count. We didn't get filled. Now you'll see we have an NSE, but no short EET. Then we have a short NSE again, and we finally get a long EET right here around 9:50 in the morning, and same thing, no fill on this EET. And a shame because it was a good trade, but we simply were not filled on it. That's the fill price down there. And again, I want to emphasize these two blue bars are not the fill price. It just happens sometimes to fall on that, but I teach you exactly what you need to know. But again, look at the risk on that. You're only risking 3 ticks. Price action just didn't come down there in order to make the trade. So short trade here. Nice winner again. And another long trade here. You see we get a little bit of sideways action. We get a couple of NSEs here. And again, we don't take NSEs off of this chart, but I do keep them on. We get a long trade here we're only risking one, two, what, just 3 or 4 ticks, comes within 1 tick of stopping us out, and then, oops, and then starts making its way up. And now this is where what a lot of my students do. What they do, some simply take the EET trades. Maybe they're trading 3 or 4 or 5 contracts, take 4 ticks off the trades and walk away, or sometimes they trade it all day long or a couple hours a day. And what they do also is they wait for a validating NSE on the long term. Here's a good example of that. An example would be, say, a 10 contract trader. Maybe he lets 5 or 6 contracts off at 4 ticks profit, but if he gets the NSE, the direction change on the long term, he can stay in even longer for more profit. In this case, you'd have jumped in right here at 1140.75 and could have easily have made 7 ticks off that trade. So some students do just that. They let a portion of their contracts off at one point, maybe drag their stop loss up or keep it down here, give it room to breathe, and then try to see if they get the NSE. If they do, try to take it for a ride. That's when you could take a good trade where you're only risking 3 or 4 ticks and make 6, 7, 8, sometimes 12 ticks off of it. So really nice trade setup. I don't talk about it that much because it is an aggressive strategy, but as you can see, it's a winning strategy. Okay, here's another short EET here. There's your stop loss up there. 4 or 5 tick stop loss there. Beautiful winner there. Let's see if we can find one more here. Long EET. Another nice winner. Okay, so that is our EET setup. Okay, there's our short trade right there. And let's see what this one does. It gets short and ends up becoming another winning trade. So beautiful. So that's the EET setup. As you can see, just in 1 hour of trading, we had 6 or 7 or 8 EET setups. There was 1 or 2 losers, 1 that wasn't filled, and some real nice winners. So again, it's an aggressive strategy, one of the 3 setups that I teach. I don't talk that much about it, but last week I put up a super EET video. I got a lot of requests for a video about just talking about the EET. So that's what the early entry technique is, and I have this chart up here, the longer term chart, to show you that it's getting into an NSE before an NSE happens, but you're getting in at a much better price. If the NSE does happen, you could stay in for even more profit. So it's a great setup, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you.